Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're going to start this champagne tasting off right. My name is Daniel Hunter Jones, and I'm going to play a little bit of music for you. Every time I go outside, I feel the air, I realize that life is whatever we make into, so try not to move, yeah. I'm falling down, nowhere to go. I'm falling down like a domino, just like a domino. Most days I carry myself with an upturned head and a smile on my face, and all the pieces start to come together now, yeah. But today when I went outside, I saw you there, I was mesmerized. Life is anything, etc. I'm falling down, nowhere to go. I'm falling down like a domino. I'm falling down like a domino. Whoa, whoa, yeah. You're collapsing, yeah. You're collapsing, yeah. At my back. Every time I go outside, I feel the air, I realize that life is whatever we make into, so try not to move it. I'm trying not to move it. So go on and drain the veins in my head, clean out the red in my eyes to get by security lines, the x-ray machine. Pretend that you don't know me so well, and I won't tell if you lie. Cry cause your drought's been brought up, drinking cause you're looking so good in your Starbucks cup. I complain for the company that I keep, the windows made for sleep and rearranged. Well, I'm nobody. Who's laughing now that I'm leaving your town again? And I'm over the ground that you've been spinning, and then I'm up in the air. So baby, hell yeah, honey, I can see your house from here. If the plane goes down, damn, I remember where the love was found. If the plane goes down, damn, oh, damn, I should be so lucky. Even only 24 hours under your touch, you know I miss you so much. I can't wait to call you and tell you that I landed somewhere, and hand you a square of the airport and walk you through the maze, the map that I'm gazing at, gracefully unnamed and feeling guilty for the love that you gave me. Oh, you made me somebody. Nobody knows me, not even me can see it. Yeah, I bet I'm leaving your town again. And I'm over the ground that you've been spinning, and then I'm up in the air. So baby, hell yeah, honey, I can see your house from here. If the plane goes down, damn, I remember where the love was found. If the plane goes down, I remember where the love was found. If the plane goes down. That was a little Jason Mraz playing there. And since it's 2020 here, There's been a lot of obstacles this year. I was kind of thinking about what to say. This song is a little too high for me to sing, but it's called Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And so I figured, why not? It's 2020, let's just do it. So Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far. Don't worry, baby, just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby. I remember the day I set you free. You told me I'd be always there for you, darling. And that day, I made a vow I'd be there when you want me, some way, somehow. 'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby. Awesome. Thank everybody so much for listening. Let's have some fun.
Okay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Daniel, Hunter, Jones. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, great. Daniel, cannot thank you enough. You have such a gift, and I feel like we've had our own little private concert here and a chance to kind of peer in and see into your world, into your voice. I'm just so grateful for your presence here and what you add to this. This is now, I think, our third collaboration, or second?
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Second. So
yeah.
Many thanks to you for bringing your gifts. You have got such an incredible voice, and you bring such a passion that I can only hope that music in your life continues to be that third rail, or something that you continue to use. And we're the beneficiaries of it for sure. Do you have any plans for 2021? How music's going to come? More music may come out of you?
I'm playing at a wine house in Waxahachie. Just kind of booked it, but February 11th and March 11th. And honestly, in the past year, in 2020 and a little bit of 2019, I really didn't play too many gigs, kind of moving around and just working a lot. I got married this year. And so, music hasn't been in the forefront of my life, but opportunities like this, I have a lot of gratitude for. So thank you.
Well, many thanks. And I think on that note of gratitude, that's how we'll kind of open up our hour together here. Welcome everybody to another edition, theme edition of our virtual champagne tasting. You'll note that I've kind of dressed up for the occasion a little bit. It really is to escort 2020 out the door and to welcome 2021 in style, right? So I'm here, I'm present. I hope that everyone out there as well is present and ready to enjoy an hour together that is going to be full of some interesting and wonderful experiences. First among them is the champagne. So I would kind of urge everyone to start to open up their bottles.
David?
Yeah.
Susie here is going to savor. The other Heather Queen on this screen is actually Susie Drinks. and she's going to saber her bottle while we're opening it.
Let's do that. Can we spotlight her for a moment?
Right there. Well, you can. You're the host.
Let's see, Julie. Yes. Okay. Pressure's on.
All right.
Hey, hi, everybody. It's me and my mom. Yeah. So I hope this works. I just put it. I hope it's cold enough.
Okay.
So I'm gonna prep it real quick.
While you're unwrapping, we'll come back to you in just a moment, Heather. So, as I said before, we want to start our hour off together with an enormous amount of gratitude. I know that each and every one of you, from Daniel, who celebrated nuptials, to every one of us, for as bad as the year has been, and for everything that has actually been thrown at us during the year, there is still a lot to be thankful for. And I know that everyone present is also grateful, and we can all think and reflect on what those items are for each of us. One thing, as we're getting ready to savor and start the opening of our bottles here, we will be checking in to a fantastic location, Paris, as France in this hour will celebrate their New Year's Eve. And there you have it. Everyone should see this live. This is the live shot of the Eiffel Tower in all of its splendor. They themselves are getting ready to welcome 2021 at the top of the hour. So we'll be checking in on that. We'll certainly bring you some of the flyover and that ensue. And we're excited about that. That's on tap. And that is certainly where I'm telling you, just seeing that makes me ache for the ability to travel. And that's only something that we can hope to see and have for ourselves in some point at 2021. But until we get to that point, that amazing shot is going to serve us well in this hour as we kind of check in. So having said that, again, I want to make sure that we'll do some housekeeping here first. Everyone's going to be muted until our Q&A session as normal. Please, though, however, avail yourself into the chat and ask questions or make comments. Please tell us how we're doing in real time. That would be great. We are here to taste some champagne, some organic, sustainable champagne that we'll get into, but accompanied with any drinking in there is hydration. So please have a pitcher of water and and a glass full of water. I'm going to drink out of a pitcher, and keep yourself hydrated. So keep yourselves with a full glass of water at all times. A lot of us have had different experiences bringing different foods for this particular tasting occasion. For those lucky enough to be in Texas and in Dallas, you've got yourself a treat from Chef Jennie Kelley, who we will talk about in a moment. But if you can, bring attention to what I have on my counter here, down below. Eyes down for a moment. I don't know, Julie, if you can bring that into focus, but we have like an antipasta platter. Yes, here we go. So we have some cheeses, and then we have some roasted vegetables that are going to just pair wonderfully with this yellow. And you can't see it, but outside on a big green egg on a rotisserie that I have is chicken shawarma that I've been marinating for 2 days. But that's just picking it up a notch. And unfortunately, it's not going to be ready during this hour. Otherwise, I'd show you. But it's cooking as we speak. Maybe I'll open up the door and smell some of it as it's going. But I hope that you also, again, have something paired and ready to enjoy, whether it's from Dallas or whether it's from elsewhere here in Atlanta. This wonderful spread actually came from Milan's Bakery. Again, I hope you have something to enjoy the champagne with, because that's when it's really going to sing and play off the notes of what you've prepared. So we'll go back to our savorage if we're ready. You can have a drum roll.
All right, like I said, I'm hoping it'll be cold enough. You're right where I'm.
Okay, I'm going to open up my bottle at the same time.
All right, y'all ready? Don't try this at home.
You still have the basket on.
Hey.
Wow.
Oh,
And-
well, the dog's gonna get a little bit now.
Yep.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Well done. Well done. Santa took it in the chin, but that's all good. That's fantastic. Well done. First try. I'm very impressed. So I'm opening up my champagne right now, as everyone else should be as well. As soon as the cage comes off, just a quick reminder, it's alive and loaded. So when the cage comes off, the thumb should go right on the top. And then I'm going to grab the bottom and turn clockwise, counterclockwise, turn gently.
Yes,
Like,
less than
the
Tom.
fork slipping and pushing against my thumb. There we go. Okay. Yay. So we have had in the past all sorts of crazy reactions or crazy bottle openings. And I'm going to pour some for the other in the bubble guests that are here with me, most namely my beautiful wife Stephanie and my mother-in-law Sue. So you may see a couple of hands reach in, rightly so. Give a thumbs up and taste the
Oh,
champagne.
there she goes.
There they are.
Oh,
So while David is doing that, I'm going to introduce Julien and his family. They are right down here and on the screen. He is the winemaker of this fantastic wine that we have here. And David is going to interpret with us here or go back and forth. So there you go, David.
Oui. Alors, bonsoir Julien. How are you?
Bonjour.
Bonjour Gabriel.
salut David.
Hello.
Alors, vous vous appelez comment? Pour les gens, vous...
Comment? Mon prénom.
Je m'appelle Gabin, pas Michel.
Gabin.
Gabin, pardon, Gabin. Et
Happy New Year.
bonsoir, madame.
Happy New Year.
Hello.
Julia.
Rappelle pour nous, le nom de...
Julien, Gabin,
Iska.
Quoi?
Alors, encore une fois, Julien.
On est plus en mute.
Julien, Gabin et Lucie.
Parfait. Okay.
We're known.
So, cheers to you,
Do you want to say something?
mon ami.
Santé.
Julien, you have I think you have some news for us, right? We have here in America, we're still on the 2012 vintage champagne, but I believe, are you coming out with the next vintage? La prochaine vendage. Ici aux États-Unis, nous avons le 2012 et après le prochain millissimé, c'est lequel?
2015.
2015, 2015.
10.
Ouais.
Fantastic. And quand est-ce que ça commence à s'ouvrir ou
Là, maintenant, aujourd'hui, ça vient de commencer.
Super. So it's available now in France. We may have to finish selling out of the 2012. On finit avec le 12 avant de venir chez le 15, mais that's very exciting news. Comme profil, un parfum au niveau de profil et de goût, c'est quoi la différence entre le 12 et le 15?
Alors, 2012, on était sur des arômes plutôt évolués, de noix, de champignons, vraiment un champagne de table et un peu, comment on pourrait dire, assez évolué, voilà. Après, 2015, on est sur un champagne qui est plutôt sur la fraîcheur, la vivacité, un côté salin. 2015, c'est aussi une très bonne année.
Wow. Okay. So let me translate real quick. Julien just described the 2012 as being very evolved and having a lot of minerality and even on the side, some kind of earthiness, even mushroom. It's a beautiful, beautiful champagne. I call it, I note that there's often a little bit of butterscotch, caramel, and a sherry note to the 2012. And the 2015, he says, has even more of this kind of sea saltness to it and nuttiness, and he's even more evolved. So we are extremely excited to taste that. And 2015 apparently was a very, very good year. As good as... Question pour toi, Julien.
Oui.
15, au point de vue de vendage, est-ce que 2015 était aussi bien ou moins bien que le vendage juste passé en 2020?
Difficile à dire encore. 2020, c'est encore dans les cuves. Mais 2020, ça annonce une très belle année aussi. Mais on ne peut pas encore se prononcer. C'est encore dans les cuves, dans les tonneaux. et c'est pas encore en bouteille. Je pourrais dire ça dans quelques années.
Okay, so just to translate, Julien gave a very close to the chest response. My question, first of all, was, what, you know, the 2015 that's coming out was a great year. How does it compare to 2020, the harvest that we just had? And Julien's response was, well, 2020, although a good growing season, the jury is still out as to whether it's a good champagne or not, because it just entered the barrels and it has some time to rest before it goes into a bottle and can be kind of evaluated on that basis. But in terms of growing, excellent, excellent, excellent year, 2020, for all of the craziness. So it's impossible to make a comparison, but it's off to a very, very good start. Excellent. Bon, ben Julien, évidemment, vous, votre belle famille, vous êtes invité de rester avec nous autant que vous voulez et de fêter avec nous, qu'on regarde quelques minutes, après quelques minutes, à chaque quart d'heure, le Paris, on va se voir. On a essayé de mettre une caméra à Reims, mais il n'y avait pas grand-chose qui se passe à Reims, plutôt que c'est une belle image. Mais
non, en fait, en France, on est confiné à la maison à partir de 20h.
À partir de 20h?
Oui.
Bah, c'est maintenant, non?
Oui, là, chez nous, il est 23h15. Donc, à partir de 20h, on n'a plus le droit d'aller dehors.
Ah bon? Ah bon?
Oui.
Confiné sur place?
C'est ça, confiné à la maison à partir de 20h. De 20h à 6h du matin, on n'a pas le droit de sortir de la maison.
Même à Paris?
Même à Paris, partout en France.
Wow. Okay. So this is important. I just wanted to relay some news. I didn't even know this, but France, including Paris, is in a lockdown from 10 o'clock until 6 a.m. So j'imagine, Julien, que même à l'heure, à 24 heures, à minuit, que pour le pays, pour tout le monde qui sont chez eux, qui regardent la télévision, on aura quand même, pour le Tour Eiffel, une grande fête, un spectacle, non?
Je ne sais pas, honnêtement, je ne sais pas.
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Nous, à Reims, rien du tout. Hein.
Oui, d'accord. Bien évidemment, moi. D'accord. Mais vous êtes nos représentants de la France pour l'instant. C'est bon. Pas de pression. C'est bon. So, again, news here that France is in lockdown. There is no one physically at the Eiffel Tower at the moment. I asked if there was going to be a bit of a fireworks show, a spectacle, a bit of theater to put on for the people staying at home and watching. And he doesn't really know. He's not he's not privy to those conversations. So again, we will, at any rate, it's beautiful to see. We will check in on the Eiffel Tower throughout the hour. But thank you. Encore un grand merci de tout le monde ici parmi nous. Je sais que tout le monde qui a goûté ce champagne est le meilleur pour d'avoir goûté. Et nous sommes toutes les fans chez André Tixier. Et nous espérons de faire une plus grande famille encore dans un an. On réunit encore une fois. Hein? Ben, merci.
Merci à tout le monde. Et merci à tout le monde et bonne année 2021. Prenez soin de vous.
Merci Julien, merci. On continue. So,
merci
Julien,
à vous.
To everybody here assembled for a healthy and happy year in 2021. And we raise our glasses and say again, encore un grand merci. And
merci, santé.
Thank you for putting up with my French. Okay. That was
Thank
pretty.
you.
Thank you, Julien. Thank you.
Merci à vous, merci David.
Ok, merci Julien. Et j'espère à bientôt. Hein?
J'espère à bientôt, oui.
Bon les vignes, très bien. Ok.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir, mon ami. So, let's see. Let's keep going here, right? Because we're doing well. We're doing well. So again, I want to kind of introduce some of our principles for this hour. And first and foremost, we've heard the lovely music of Daniel Hunter-Jones. Thank you, Daniel. You've also heard Heather Queen, who is our sommelier and who's from Dallas, Texas, but currently in the snowy area of Texas and the Panhandle. I'm in the Panhandle of Texas. No? Yes? Heather Queen, ladies and gentlemen, the Queen of. Tell us where you are. Tell us where you are.
I'm down in West Texas, but I was in the Panhandle just a couple days ago, and I did drive through a snowstorm there also. So snow seems to be following me wherever I go these days. But what I really want to do is, and because there's quite a few people on here from Dallas, I want to introduce Jennie, and I really would like to have her talk a little bit about especially what she has accomplished over the last couple of days with loopholes being thrown and all kinds of different things happening. And she's really pulled this whole thing together. So there's a lot of people on here from Dallas. So I want to acknowledge her and all that she has done, as well as Joe over the past 2 days, making sure everybody has their champagne, everybody has their food. And she's done quite a great job. Getting the date. Am I going back and forth? So Jennie, I'm gonna let you talk.
Hi guys, happy almost New Year.
Hey, how are you doing, Jennie?
Thanks to everyone who participated in the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Smorgasbord for sure. Has anyone tried any of the food yet?
Yes, let's go to chat. Feel free to enter into the chat what you're tasting. But Jennie, we can't thank you enough for preparing what really was an intricate and amazing spread.
I'm mute.
Yes, there's three different components. There's a New Year's virtual tasting that we're doing right now that has a seeded tostada with a king crab dip and trout roe. There's also a devil's on horseback, which is date stuffed with taleggio cheese, which is stinky but melts delicious, wrapped in a little prosciutto. Each bag has basil microgreens, so you can garnish whatever you want. I like it on the tostada and on the dates. And then tonight there's a noshing board similar to what you're having, David, with charcuterie and cheese and crackers and breadsticks and honey, peppered, local honey and pepper jam and dates. And I kind of went crazy. I should have stopped editing, but I forgot to. And then for tomorrow, there's a hot smoked salmon fillet, 4 ounces for everyone, 2 bagels from Cindy's Deli in Dallas, which is kind of has its own story. They helped us out and delivered those to us fresh yesterday morning. Yeah, and so they have bagel chips in that, everything cream cheese, a horseradish, beet, creme fraiche, a tomato caper relish, and actually had some of that earlier to decompress after packing all that up for the last 2 days, and it was delicious. So I hope you guys really enjoy it, and let me know, of course, if you have any questions or need anything else.
I can see that pairing beautifully with the rosé. Incredible.
Yes.
I'd like to highlight her date because that date pairs perfectly with this champagne. The components in the date with the cheese and then the floralness of the rosé, they really just go quite well together.
Fantastic.
And Heather had this date at a pop-up we did a couple of weeks ago, and she was so excited that we were offering it as part of this virtual tasting because she was already like, oh, that's going to work magically.
Yeah.
And there's a saltiness and a creaminess and a sweetness, and they really balance each other out. And when you just finish it with the rosé, it's like, bam.
I love it. But Jennie, I mean, you're an incredible chef, and Dallas is lucky, to have you. And for those who are outside of Dallas, I know that you're an accomplished person. You're a fantastic singer, as we've heard in the past. But I know that you're also you have another project that's in the works as it relates to cooking. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah. So, during a pandemic, you have to find other ways to be creative as restaurants are shut down and even private dinners are kind of, limited for the amount of people you can do. So I decided to write a cookbook. So I'm working on that, and it'll come out in 2021. And what else do you do when you're shut down but, write a book? So it's a compilation of dishes that have already been tested, but they have the bonus of being able to be made year round. So each dish will actually have 4 recipes to make it seasonal year round. So like the tart that we did this summer, there will be 5 additional recipes with that we paired with this wine in, I believe it was July or August. So the book, they'll get really 100 recipes and instructions on how to make that year round.
I think that's so smart. And again, that's just that's a spin on a regular cookbook.
Yes.
Take it to a level that's intelligent for a reason. It says, here is the dish, and then here are 3-4 different ways to modify it according, and in order to be seasonal, right?
Right. And David, I'm calling the book.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm calling the book A Dish for All Seasons, which kind of explains it.
Bam. That's it. Don't need me to explain it. It says itself. I think
Thank you so much.
It's a higher order kind of really intelligent way to have a cookbook, and I think it's great. I think
Thank you so much.
That's what we're drinking here. I mean, we're drinking something that's planted in the fall, that's harvested in, that's harvested almost a year later, and it's about locality. And the only thing secondary to locality is seasonality. So,
exactly.
Well done.
So true.
If you didn't have the opportunity to do this back in July, the tart that Jennie made, she had a tart that would pair with each season also. So we had the summer tart in July, and then she had 4 other recipes that would go all year round that you could do it. And we paired this exact same champagne with that tart during the summer.
And I know Jason and Leah are on this call or Zoom. Hi, Jason and Leah. I know that they made the breakfast version of that tart and sent me pictures, and it looked awesome. So I was really excited to see. I really love seeing what you guys do with the recipes and sharing that as well. I love that interaction, since we don't get to have that as much as we would like right now.
Well, let's kind of look at that. If anybody has and would like to raise their hand in the Zoom or signal in the chat, a combination that they're experiencing with the champagne, with either Chef Jennie's dish, or the ones that are available in Chicago, or the ones that were available in Atlanta, please put a 1 or into the chat, or raise your hand in the chat, and we'd love to kind of spotlight anybody who wants to anyone who's having a visceral, pleasant reaction to the champagne and the food, as I am right now. Julie, do we have anybody? If not, we'll keep going.
I think we skipped over a little part of our discussion at the beginning. So David, I think it'd be great if you would share and bring Heather in and talk a little bit more about the champagne and what makes organic champagne so special.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, because you're right. We do have a lot of new people here that are joining us, and so we say thank you. But correct. Let me bring this back a little bit to the quick background as to what is Avid Vines and why do I do this, and why have I changed my life a little bit in the last couple of years to bring good organic champagne to the U.S. As many of you know who know me, I'm a dual citizen, and I've lived between these two cultures all my life, between France and America, and I had always plotted how I could keep these two cultures in my life tied together. And with a love of food that was instilled by my mother and my travels in France, it was easy for me to seize on wine. And having worked at almost 18 years ago for a distributor in Atlanta, I learned a lot about wine and where in the value chain I thought I could find an advantage or something niche enough to build a business around. And I had the idea of importing champagne at some point, but it had to be good. Then I seized on the idea that it had to be organic. And then I seized on the idea that in order to keep that special organic nature and for you to taste it, not as a flavor, but to experience it in your body and to enjoy it the next day, as well as enjoying it when you taste it. I realized that you needed to refrigerate it and port it in chilled containers. And with that, I thought I would still not be able to find the right producer that would qualify for what I was looking for. But Julien, who you just met, was my second attempt during the summer of 2018 after a bit of research, visiting France with my family and exploring the region. So I got very lucky, and Julien and I sat down, and when he answered the question, have you ever exported to the US before? He said no. We literally signed on the back of a cocktail napkin our agreement, and I started to build Avid Vines around that fateful conversation and that drive to bring excellent, organic, sustainable, sparkling wines and champagne within walking distance of desire. And we're getting toward that goal, especially if you live in Dallas, Atlanta, and in other places. But we can ship anywhere thanks to our online retail partnership with Roots and Water, which is based out of Dallas. But my goal is to bring more attention to these owner growers, these farmers who don't purchase a single grape. Everything that is in this glass and in these bottles behind me is farmed by Julien and put into the bottle by Julien by his hand and his team's hand. And that means no heavy machinery. It's all hand-picked at harvest time. You saw some images of that at the very beginning of the hour when Daniel was playing. And it's there are no chemicals. What does organic mean? There's nothing sprayed on the vines. There's no nitrates or chemicals in the fertilizer. It's all composted and natural. And it also fights with other biodiverse elements that are in the ground, either weeds or vegetables or natural herbs that are grown. They're not the most tidy, masters kind of golf course curated, manicured vineyards. They're very wild. And that breeds a competition for the water source that the roots have to fight for. And the struggle yields a better grape and a better champagne than something that's a little bit more flabby, that was given everything that it could possibly want and massaged every day and just didn't have to fight for anything. That comes through in more ways than one. Capture all that and collapse the distance by putting it into a refrigerating container. And we are all tasting something that is as if we were at the cellar door with Julien. And that's what's so special about these champagnes. They have not been abused as sometimes other champagnes and other wines. 95%, frankly, of all the wines from Europe to the US do get abused by being put into containers where the temperature could be 30 degrees above or below their normal and average temperature. We're in the protection business, and we're in the ability to protect the champagne over its most perilous part of the journey of the supply chain, of the voyage from bottle to your glass. So that's a little bit of the kind of background as to how Avid Vines is structured and what it's designed to do. And I kind of want to turn this back over a little bit to Heather to kind of elicit some of the reaction and crystallize for us some of what we're tasting from her her in-depth knowledge now of these champagnes and of the rosé in particular.
So I like to drink bubbles. I drink bubbles pretty much every day of my life. That's, for those people who know me, know I drink a lot. And I actually have a different person's wine here with me. I won't show you the label, but I'll show you. I just wanted to show you guys the difference in the color on these two. If you can see, I've got them kind of up there. See how much brighter this one is? The Andre Tixier in my right hand. And then you can see this is a little more tawny. It just shows you the difference in the skin contact. It also shows you the freshness, the brightness of the Andre Tixier champagne that we have. It's a darker color. It has a little more skin contact, but because it is organic and sustainable, you're going to get a champagne that is, and I hate to use this word because people use this word all the time and it's not really a viable word, but it's a very special, not clean is not the word I want to use, but it's the best way to describe it. It's just a very good, crisp champagne. And like David was saying, when you drink this, because it does have low residual sugar and because it is grown and well tended, you can drink this whole bottle of wine. Now, I'm not telling you that if you drink a whole lot of other wine with this bottle of wine that you're not going to have a hangover. But if you drink this whole bottle of wine by itself, you're not going to have a hangover because of all of those things. And the brightness and the freshness of the champagne comes through. You get the strawberries, you get the rhubarb, you get all of these unique flavors that come through in this. And it offers you just a great way to, I don't know, start today or start any day. I don't know. I would start my day with it. I do often.
I'm so glad you actually showed that comparison between the two colors. And you know,
can you see the difference in the colors? I'm trying to look through the camera while I'm showing them just so you can see the color of it. And this is a really well-made wine. And the other champagne that I have here, I drink this one often too. But just see how deep the difference in the color is on them.
Yeah.
And it just makes a difference in the champagne and what you're drinking and what it is. And so I encourage you, if you're drinking out of a wine glass or if you're drinking out of a flute, you can still kind of get this, but just take it. You don't have to bring it all the way up to your face, just a little bit, and just open your mouth and breathe in, and you will get all of these bright first characteristics of the champagne. And everybody's going to smell different stuff, but think about what you smell here other than strawberries and roses, because those are both in there.
Rose is a great call.
And then take a little bit into your mouth and just roll it around before you swallow it and see if you get those same flavors when you taste it.
Yeah. You know, it's true. We have 2 extra olfactory sensors in the inside of our mouths beyond the ones that are in our nose. And so having your mouth slightly ajar, you know, is an effective way to get the aromas into the mouth before. And listen, we don't put down anyone else's champagne to kind of, what we simply do is we know that everyone starts to feast with their eyes first before they even taste. And adding a dimension of color won't say anything about the taste of the wine, but it does start to create that attraction with the eyes. And I'll say it, I mean, a lot of other rosés, they look tired from the trip. They look exhausted. They're like, oh, I finally made it here, and whew, let me just get out here and drink me. But what's in this Andre Tixier sometimes is a little shocking for people because it's not what they expect of it. And just talk a little bit about the technique. As you mentioned, that crispness comes from a free run of juice when harvested and then pressed of Pinot Meunier and Pinot Noir. Free run, meaning no skin contact, just the clear juice, and 80% of that is what's in this champagne. The last 20% is made from only Pinot Noir, but a fully vinified wine that could be sold as a Pinot Noir on its own. And I've begged Julien to try this and sell it, but he says, no, it's reserved just for the champagne. The last 20% is a pure Pinot Noir, just kind of dumped in. And that's what gets this raw and shocking, wonderful, wonderful color. Now, if these champagnes also had to suffer through the heat and variance of being on water, I don't know if it would dull the color on that, but I do know that, again, the refrigeration during the importation of the champagne keeps that color, keeps that freshness, keeps everything that we're enjoying right now. In addition to, then you can start getting into the flavors, right? Then you can start.
But I also think that you need to point out that this is a Premier Cru. It is a Premier Cru champagne. So it is made from the best vines around in that area, the best scrapes. They're handpicked, they're well tended, they're all taken care of. And every bit of this, from the planting of the grape, through the growing of it, through the harvesting of it, all of that creates what you get in a bottle. And you can see when you're looking at this and when you're tasting it and when you're talking about it, just the elegance that goes into making this wine. And I like to point this out. Julien he's a farmer. He's a farmer making wine, and he's doing a really good job of being a farmer and making wine.
Yeah,
which is a lot of what you get out of Sonoma. Sonoma, there's still farmers there. They're farmers. They're growing this. They're in their land. They're tending it, and it's like a well tended child or plant, or however you want to do it. Sonoma's a lot of the same kind of growing techniques. Yeah,
no, I think that's such a great point. He's got the calluses on his hands to prove it, and his team it's an exhausting exercise come harvest time. And he doesn't take any visitors. What I will say is that every other time around harvest, you are welcome when we open up in the days that come ahead of us, where we can travel, are certainly invited. And I'll let everyone know when I'm going, and you're more than welcome to join me and visiting Julien when things open up a bit. But that is a special treat, and it's not the Disney tour, but it's modest, and yet it's where this comes from, and to see and touch where the champagne comes from just adds another element, which I all hope that we get to enjoy and that you get to enjoy one day in Champagne. Julie, I think I want to just take a quick look if the Eiffel Tower is still standing. How are we doing?
Well, let's hope it's still standing.
Cloud coverage and so forth. Can we check in on Tour Eiffel? Okay. I'm amazed that I cannot imagine Paris with no one in the street, but it'd be like Times Square, I guess. But this is good. Okay, so we're checking in. Let's see. I think what we can do now, Julie, is move to our, we do have a special kind of interactive treat for everybody in moving to some of our polling questions.
And there might be a prize at the end.
There might be a prize at the end. We can figure out who has answered correctly. We have a series of questions in a fun way that I think everyone's going to be able to participate. What's required of you is to pull out your smartphones at your side. I'll give everyone a moment to grab their phone. And you're going to go as we have on the screen here. There's a website, and that website is called Menti. M as in Mary, E Edward, N Nancy, T Thomas, I India. Menti.com. And if you go to this website and you enter the code at the top of the screen, 7 digits, we will ask you a few questions, and you will be able to participate in our interactive quiz. And so I can see.
Awesome. Who's the crown? I want to know who the crown is. Is that my mom?
I don't know if you get a choice about your icon, but
okay.
You are represented. And this is great. We'll give you a couple more moments. Everyone can refill a little bit. If you are a duo, then have split the responsibilities. Have one person log in and the other person refresh your champagne glass. The division of labor. I'll give you another minute. And listen, while we're doing that, let me kind of bring back Daniel into the conversation and say, Daniel, I don't know if the audience fully knows, and we shouldn't assume, but tell us a little bit about your background. I know that you competed on several major television shows with your talent. You can relate maybe a fun story from what you've done from any of those 2 experiences.
Yeah, I was on American Idol in 2010. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. My whole family went to try out. It's kind of like, we're kind of like The Sound of Music or something like that. We all sing and we have a lot of fun. So my mom offered a trip to Denver, Colorado to go try out. And she threw in Six Flags into the mix. So I said, absolutely, I'll go. And I tried out and I ended up making it to Hollywood. And it was a great experience. This was 10 years ago now. And so as an 18-year-old going through that, I really thought, I thought that I was going to go through the whole thing and win the whole thing. I was very confident about it. And I got cut in the second round. And I went home, and that's kind of when my songwriting started. That's when I started writing songs. I guess it feels, I don't know. It feels weird for me to say that that's like my biggest heartbreak. And I also feel so lucky that was the experience. But to me, it was a big heartbreak. And so that started a road of a music career and I guess writing songs. So yeah.
I think that's great. I think you can certainly, as you intimated, that you can plumb the depths of those experiences to make your future songwriting, more authentic and more real.
Yeah.
So congratulations on it, because it put you on a different path. And Napoleon used to say, "Look, I drink champagne, and because when I win a victory, I celebrate with it, and when I lose, I need it more to
Absolutely. Yeah. Help me out.
So, okay, I think we have everyone who's going to participate at menti.com and who's entered the code 3605851. So Julie, let's start with what our first question is. The idea will be, we're going to throw a question up and you get to choose a response. Look at your phone for the options. This is the question. On your phone are the choices. And with about 15 or so seconds for each question, put in your response. Yep, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Survey says, how do you avoid a champagne headache? Drink certified organic champagne. Good call. And correct answer. Although really there are no wrong answers there. Drink plenty of water is a valid one. Way to go. But we were looking for drinking certified organic champagne. Duh. Anyway, sorry. So let's go to our next question. Question number 2. Prepare your phone. Oop, question number 3. Let's go back to question number 2. Okay, question number 2. Do we have, here we go. Your options are on your phone for choosing. How many days does it take to bring a bottle of champagne from the vineyard in France to your favorite wine club or shop? Which means, and this, take a guess as to how long it takes to actually go across the ocean, arrive. The wines leave the, and to arrive really at your wine store. Okay, 49 days. That is roughly, that's about.
For all of you who put 63 days, I thought it was 63 days also.
That's a tough one. Sorry. So yeah, it takes about 49 days, and it's nail biting. When in our previous editions, when we've had wine from Julien on the water, we had at one of our previous tastings a live cam to the radar. It wasn't a camera, but it was a radar. We're able to pick up the actual boat carrying the champagne, and you better believe that I check in on it at least once every day or once every other day to see just where that boat is, and it leaves the Havre in France and makes its way to a port in New York. Sometimes it makes its way directly to the port of Savannah, but either way, it eventually gets to Savannah, and then from Savannah, where it lands and deboards, it goes into a truck and it makes its way to Atlanta. It's our warehouse here in Atlanta, the suburb, northern suburb. And then a good chunk of it makes its way then to Dallas, and then can get distributed anywhere in the country. Again, through our partnership with Roots and Waters and with Heather. So yeah, there we go. Let's go to question 3. Question 3 of 4. It's getting exciting. So the sooner you answer the question, the more points you get as well. What percentage of European wine is shipped to the US in climate-controlled containers? I think I actually did say this in some of my remarks, which is good. Real-time results, 5 seconds left. Okay, very good. We've got a majority of people. That's right. So only 5%, I may have said the inverse, like 95%, 95% doesn't come on refrigerated containers, leaving only 5% that actually does come across on refrigerated containers. And again, we're drinking a very, it's expensive to do that, but we, for everything else, we try to deliver a good value champagne that has been cared for at every stage. And the value that the importer brings, myself for Avid Vines, is I take all the good work that Julien has done and preserve it by putting on these refrigerated containers. But again, we won't put down other champagnes to put ours, but a lot of other champagnes just don't do that. They just don't do that because they've got to feed the masses, I guess. Okay, so let's do our fourth of 4 questions. Thank you, Julie. Question 4, finishing out. I feel like this is trivia night at the bar. Only it's organic champagne instead of craft beer. And the questions don't have like Cool in the Gang as their answer. What percentage of champagne is designated Premier Cru? I know Heather talked about this, but I don't think we talked about percentage, so this may be a wild guess for some. Ooh, close. It is roughly 8%. And we're talking about all the champagne out there. And Grand Cru is even less. But
so Grand Cru would actually hit the 3% mark. The Grand Cru regions in Champagne's not a very big region if you're looking at regions and kind of how they run. So if you compare Napa, that's 29 miles of wineries in Napa that go kind of up one road and on either side. And Champagne is about half of that. So the 3% of it is Grand Cru and 8% is Premier Cru, which leaves the rest of it being champagne from the region. So There's not a lot of wine that's made in the Grand Cru and the Premier Cru style. And they have to get designation from the AOC to be able to make those Premier Cru or Grand Cru vineyards.
Right. Another point of geographic relativity is Sonoma is much bigger than Napa, but Sonoma is roughly the size of Rhode Island in California. And, you know,
Champagne's the size of Rhode Island's capital.
Exactly.
Oh, the Wolfmeister. Who's the Wolfmeister?
Congratulations.
You just got yourself a bottle of champagne.
We have a wolf. Yes. Congratulations. And that champagne will be delivered to you in time for our next wine tasting. And you can use it for, and everyone else should join us for our next wine tasting. We'll have more details about that.
Skip.
Was it Skip? Was it Skip?
The Wolfmeister. I think you get to pick where you are. Can we circle back around to Jennie just for a second? I want to talk about some of the other stuff that she's got on here with the tostada as well. Can you talk about that? Because you did that on the fly. You came up with that, and man.
Are you? Yeah, it's really good. It's kind of a play on what Chef Adrian was going to be able to do. So I wanted to stick with the tostada. That's just a good vessel for lots of different flavors. But instead of doing his like avocado crema, I wanted to kind of go with seafood and something sumptuous. With this champagne, I did lobster last time, and it was really nice. So I chose king crab. We have, gosh, so many different things going on in that. King crab, the main ingredient, there's a little bit of horseradish in there, so it has a little bit of spice in there. We also marinated the king crab in olive oil and lemon, and then we've added some crunch and texture in there with carrots and a little bit of mustard seed actually to give it some tanginess. And then on top of that is a smoked trout roe, which is going to pop with every single bite you have, which is also going to pop with the flavors of the champagne.
So when you did this, Jennie, I talk about this a lot with champagne. Champagne is a palate cleanser. So every time that you take a sip of your champagne and then you eat a bite of your food, it'll pair with that, and then take another sip of your champagne. It cleanses your palate every single time. So I tell people a lot of times, especially down here in Texas, they want to drink a big red with their steak. And I like to say, why don't you try a glass of champagne with your steak? Because you're going to get a new steak every time. It's the same point with what Jennie's talking about with the tostada and the king crab with the roe. There's a lot going on in there. So every single time you take a bite and then take a bite or drink a champagne, you're going to get a different flavor profile coming out from those different things that she's got going on that.
I think that's
yes, Quinn, that is a thing. Champagne is a palate cleanser. It's a lot like sherbet, believe it or not, except that it's better because it has alcohol in it.
Could not agree more. I think that's such an excellent point. I mean, we all have palate fatigue. You know, that 10th bite of steak or crab is not the same as the first. But when you refresh your palate with champagne, the effervescence, everything that's going on, the acidity is like cleaning, and every new bite of the food you're pairing it with is a new experience again. It literally is what it's made for. It is a pairing. The idea of drinking champagne as a cocktail is I think you can do it with, and you should do it with, other kinds of champagne. When you've got really good food quality champagne that pairs immensely well, like these do, and that are going to leave you feeling great, tomorrow, then, apply it to the meal and see what happens. And we're only talking about certain foods that none of us may also be able to benefit from tonight, but it's the suggestion of what you could pair this with. I think that's very great takeaway. And then knowing that, it's not something to have at the beginning of the meal, but to integrate it throughout sets you up for success.
Yeah. And if you have champagne left over for later tonight or for tomorrow, this is going to pair really well with that smoked salmon also that they did. And I kind of would like you to talk a little bit about that, because it's done differently than a lot of smoked salmon is done, Jennie, correct?
Yes. So we do a hot smoke on that. So we actually get the wood chips that you would use to grill. We get hickory wood chips and we smoke the salmon over that. So instead of it being like a lox where the salmon is cold smoked and kind of thin and actually, unfortunately, can be slimy, this is a thick fillet. I just took a really cool picture of it that you can cut with a fork, but it's still cold and flaky. and kind of just adds a lot of texture, and you get the smokiness from the wood chips that you don't get with the cold smoke. A hot smoke delivers more flavor and penetrates the protein more. That is going to go great. Again, seafood goes great with this rosé. We did the everything cream cheese, which people like an everything bagel, but the seeds fall off. So we put the everything spice in the cream cheese, and that's going to give it some texture, which I'm very impassioned about, and going to give it some extra flavor with each bite. In addition to that, we wanted something real creamy and light. So we did a creme fraiche infused with beet and horseradish. That horseradish is going to be kind of spicy to also balance out some of the sweet notes that are in the rosé. And then you've got bagel chips, another texture ingredient, and fresh plain bagels from Cindy's, and then a tomato caper relish with pickled onions, capers, tomato, and I believe in that too, we put just a dash of mustard seed. Again, these seeds are going to be popping out everywhere too. If you have extra trout roe left over from your tostada, put it on your salmon tomorrow.
Man, that is genius, chef. And here I have like Trader Joe's, just everything bagel, seasoning. And
David, they have the best one.
They're the best one. Okay,
yes.
Good to know. But I never would have thought of putting this on the cream cheese. It's like you got an everything bagel, but everything falls off, and the best parts are like dabbing into that. Well,
exactly.
I just think that's genius. That's genius.
Thank you.
Yes.
I am going to say do not, and I'm saying this to two people in particular, my parents, don't put orange juice on top of this, please.
Great.
This is not a mimosa champagne, Sally.
Listen, we're all here to learn. We're all here to learn. We're not here to judge. We're here to share experiences. And
my dad started to talk.
If we were rolling back the hits and highlights of our previous tastings, we would happen upon some sage advice that Chef Adrian Nieto gave us a while back, which was rather than blend your orange juice with sparkling wine, not of a champagne caliber, but sparkling wine. If you have champagne, do this instead. One, try to remove orange juice and think of some other freshly squeezed fruits that you can have. Or even more enlightened, if you have a juicer, throw some ginger, throw a thumb of ginger, throw some carrot sticks, throw some oranges or persimmons or anything else that would juice for a mango slices. Juice that and have a fresca, if you will, by blending it with some sparkling water. And the reason why we're putting orange juice and other sparkling wines together is to kind of hydrate ourselves and enjoy a cocktail. But if you have this fresca of freshly squeezed juice and sparkling water, you have the ability to hydrate yourself and then make that a sidecar. Put that on the side and then drink your champagne and then taste the food. And you have a symphony of different experiences to enjoy while you're still staying, while still staying hydrated. So, but to mix it all and crash it together is, go the extra.
You gave us such a healthy cocktail there. Can you, Dan says watermelon, put some watermelon in there. Can you tell us about the Avid Vines challenge, please? Since we're running up on top of the hour.
Good. Yes, good question. Thank you. So the Avid Vines challenge is as follows. We want to hear from you. And we've asked, and we want to basically understand how you experience the champagne. And we talk about how you enjoy these champagnes twice, right? Once when you taste them and the next day when you wake up with no regrets. So the headache challenge is simply this. Consuming the champagne as you're enjoying tonight, immediately after you finish the bottle or immediately after this tasting, if you can give 20 seconds, either written or a quick little video into your smartphone, and then and post it online if you want. Just you can tag us at Avid Vines on Facebook or Avid_Vines on Instagram. But send us that video, and then send us what you're experiencing the next day. Now, granted, if this champagne is your launching point for tequila and a crazy vendor for the rest of the evening, we don't want to hear from you the next day because it's not going to be the champagne's fault. But if you are enjoying the champagne and it stays there, we want to hear how you feel again the next day. So that's part of the headache, our headache challenge, our Avid Vines challenge. And to the winner that we find from these two experiences, you will also have a bottle awaiting you for our next tasting in February. Do you accept the challenge?
I'm going to accept the challenge. I'm going to drink 3 bottles. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to drink 3 bottles.
Get an IV for that one.
Right.
I wanted to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so for those of you that don't live in Dallas or Texas and couldn't participate in this, if you go to Better Half Pop-Up Instagram or Queen of Grapes Instagram, or David may share on Avid Vines Instagram, there will be pictures of every component of the trio of culinary experiences we made for this event. So we'll be posting that throughout we've already posted one from last night. We've got a few up our sleeves to post going into the new year, and then a nice one to show the salmon spread tomorrow. If you have any questions, again, let us know, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you read my notes.
I would also like to say that you can post your pictures and tag Jennie, myself, Avid Vines, what you did with the different items and how you paired them. We would love to see those. We would really love to see those, actually.
Yes, for sure.
On your screens is, you want to take a quick snapshot with your phone. On the screens is everyone's handle. We appreciate, the love and any kind of tagging. Both of you, Chef Jennie Kelley is a chef to watch, and anticipate her cookbook with glee and with hungry appetites. So we are kind of wrapping up. We've got to check in with France. I hope, and before we do so, make sure again, the only people in these restaurants during COVID are musicians as well. So we like to do this. If you feel compelled and you've enjoyed yourself for this hour, these are the Venmo accounts for Daniel and for Chef Jennie, and an appreciation. The donation is always appreciated.
My name is spelled wrong.
Oh, one back.
It is.
It's IE instead of EY.
Correct.
Jenn. We'll get it up in the thank you.
No worries. No worries.
Okay.
It's JENNIE_.
All good. Lastly, the Avid Vines, we support 3 essential organizations: the Dallas Food Bank, the Giving Kitchen here in Atlanta, and the Avid Vines, with its goals of bringing sustainable and organic champagnes to the U.S. is actually part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And you can look on our blog off of avidvines.com to read more about this special project that we are involved in and that we're very proud to be part of. So without further ado, I hope that we're not too late. If we can look at, we have our next station on February 13th, but let's go to Paris real quick. Gosh, I hope something good is happening.
Well, it would be bad if something bad was happening.
True.
Oh, look.
Hey, it's sparkling.
Happy New Year. Cheers, everyone.
Happy New Year, La France. It is going. It is sparkling. Very much in a champagne way. All those little lights and bubbles. This is a live shot, right? So this is the new year. This is 2021 in Paris.
Sorry, Heather. Joe's still laughing.
Why?
You're like, it'd be really bad if something bad was happening.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a logical thought process.
Yeah.
I'm a very literal person.
You are, yeah.
It does look like a piece of jewelry, which is just amazing. I expected fireworks, but hey, this is the times we live in. I'm happy to see them decorate and give a nice show on the Eiffel Tower like this.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Everybody
raise your glass, please. We'd love to say cheers. Thank you to everyone for being here.
Happy New Year.
I want to give a humongous thank you to Jennie and to Joe for what they have accomplished over the past 36 to 48 hours. You have no idea, and they really just pulled off a spectacular event, and very excited to give lots of gratitude and thankfulness to both of you. So you're the best. You're the best.
I raise my glass to all of you. None of this could be done without some key behind the scenes help from my colleague Julie Weinberg.
Julie.
Hello, in a wave.
Hey, Julie.
Yep. So Julie.
Here I am.
And really,
Avid Vines control room.
That's right. Many thanks to you, Julie. And to everybody, my fervent wish. There's your husband, Mark. Hello, Mark. Accomplished doctor. MD.
Oh, I saw that chat just now. So Jo Jones is actually my wife. She is Heather's assistant. I actually don't have a Venmo myself, so my wife will get the tip, and
Good for you. Good for you giving it to your wife.
yeah, she can take it. I didn't sign anything, but yeah, I mean, she
Cut
can
out the
have it.
middleman.
It's fine. It's all right.
Listen to
All
everyone.
the people I love are involved.
Everyone, I wish you strength in the new year, and I wish you a path to accomplishing everything that you can think of that you want to exceed goal-wise and more in this year. And that I hope that the journey is filled with health, first and foremost, the safety, and then happiness and enjoyment of the way that you can reward good routines in your life. And if a good routine is keeping a good exercise or a good diet or a brisk walk every day, then let the reward be something enjoyable like this champagne. That's my fervent wish for everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, Jenny. You're the best.
Wow.
Cheers, everyone.
So everyone is set up, hopefully, to enjoy the new year in the U.S. And I can't think of a better way to have prepared for that evening than what we've done. But we'll leave the chat open. And Daniel, if you can kind of play us out with a song, that would be
Sounds great.
That would be icing on the cake.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing a different song, but while we were all talking, I thought of this song and I wanted to send off 2020 in a really beautiful way. And this is one of the more beautiful songs I know. So here it is.
Congratulations, Mike.
I heard there was a sacred chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair, and she broke your throne, and she cut your hair, and from her lips she drew a hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great one. On to
Happy New
2020.
Year.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you all.
Cheers.
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 New Year.
Okay.